Today, we are diving deep into the incredible science that just won the 2025 Nobel Prize in Medicine. And it's a wild story because it's all about a kind of double agent living inside every single one of us, a cell that can be our best protector and also cancer's secret weapon. So let's start with this one big idea. What if the real key to fighting cancer wasn't just about attacking it head-on, but about figuring out how it hides in plain sight? That is the exact question at the very heart of this year's Nobel Prize. So this year's Nobel Prize went to a discovery that didn't just add to what we know, it completely reshaped our understanding of the immune system and its incredibly delicate balancing act. And here they are, the brilliant minds behind it all, Shimon Sakaguchi, Mary E. Brunkow, and Fred Ramsdell. They won for their discoveries in something called peripheral immune tolerance. Now, I know, that sounds super technical, but trust me, it's a concept that is absolutely crucial for keeping you alive and healthy. To really get what they discovered, we first have to appreciate the massive puzzle they were trying to solve. Think of your immune system like this super powerful army. It's fantastic at hunting down and destroying invaders, but you absolutely need a way to tell it when to hit the brakes. Right, so that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How does this army know the difference between an enemy, like a virus, and a friend, like, your own organs? How does it know when to stand down? Well, the answer comes down to this idea, peripheral immune tolerance. It's basically a critical safety system. It's the training that happens out in the field, teaching your immune cells not to freak out over harmless stuff like pollen, or the friendly bacteria in your gut, and, most importantly, your own body's tissues. And you can kind of see the two lines of defense here. Central tolerance, that's like boot camp for your immune cells. It's their basic training. But peripheral tolerance, that's the ongoing command structure out in the field that keeps them from going rogue. And it's that second system that our Nobel winners finally figured out. And this is where we get to the breakthrough moment, the discovery of a very special kind of cell that acts as the immune system's very own team of dedicated peacekeepers. The full picture didn't just appear overnight. It really came together piece by piece. It started back in 1995 when Sakaguchi found these unique suppressor cells, and he named them regulatory T cells, or Tregs for short. Then, bam, in 2001, we get this incredible 1-2 punch. Mary Brunkow finds that a single broken gene, FOXP3, is responsible for this terrible autoimmune disease. And at almost the exact same time, Fred Ramsdell identifies that very same gene, FOXP3, as the master controller of the Tregs. And just like that, all the pieces clicked into place. The Tregs are the peacekeepers, and the FOXP3 gene is basically their instruction manual. You take that away, and the body's own army just goes to war with itself. And the importance of this cannot be overstated. As the chair of the Nobel Committee said, their work was decisive in explaining why we aren't all constantly battling our own bodies. In other words, these cells are pretty much the only reason we're not all suffering from severe autoimmune diseases. But, and this is a huge but, here's where the story takes this really dark, really fascinating turn. What if this essential peacekeeping force could be corrupted? What if it could be turned into a secret ally for our biggest enemy? Okay, so we've established their day job, right? Tregs are the good guys. They're the diplomats, the ones who tell the hot-headed immune cells to stand down and keep the peace. But in the presence of a tumor, that noble mission gets completely hijacked. See, cancer is smart. It figures out how to exploit this very system, turning these peacekeepers into traitors, into personal bodyguards for the tumor itself. This slide just lays it out so perfectly, the two faces of Tregs. On one hand, they're the heroes, preventing our bodies from attacking themselves. But in a cancer patient, they become the villains. The tumor essentially tricks them into putting up this protective shield, telling our cancer-killing cells, nope, nothing to see here, move along. And you can imagine, this creates an unbelievable dilemma for doctors. We know that the more Tregs you find inside a tumor, the worse the patient's prognosis is likely to be. It's especially tricky with things like stem cell transplants. You actually need those Tregs to stop the new immune system from attacking the patient's body. But at the same time, those exact same Tregs might be stopping that new immune system from mopping up any leftover cancer. It's an incredible tightrope walk. So, where do we go from here? What does all this mean for the future? Well, this Nobel-winning work has blown the doors wide open on a whole new frontier in the war on cancer. Just get a load of this number. Over 600. That's not just a number. That's more than 600 clinical trials happening right now, all based on this discovery. Researchers everywhere are in a race to figure out how to turn these double agents back to our side. But here it is, the ultimate challenge, the holy grail of this research. It's not as simple as just getting rid of all the Tregs. If you did that, you trigger a massive autoimmune catastrophe. The real goal is to be like a surgeon, to find a way to only shut down the traitor Tregs that are guarding the tumor while leaving all the loyal ones to keep doing their important job. And that really leaves us with a question that is going to define the next generation of cancer therapy. Thanks to the groundbreaking work of Sakaguchi, Brunkow, and Ramsdell, we finally understand the shield that cancer has been hiding behind. The next great chapter in medicine will be about learning how to lower that shield, just for a moment, so our own bodies can finally win the fight.